Dispatch, we have got a 187 at Matanuska Lake. Female victim appears to be dismembered. Matching description of missing barista Samantha Koenig.
What would you do if you found out your local handyman was one of America's most methodical serial killers? In February 2012, the quiet town of Anchorage, Alaska, would discover that evil sometimes wears a friendly face and carries a contractor's license. On a freezing February morning, 18-year-old Samantha Koenig was working alone at the Common Grounds coffee stand. Security footage shows a man approaching just before closing. He orders coffee, then pulls out a gun. What happened next would expose one of the FBI's most chilling cases, a killer who turned murder into a vacation hobby. But our story doesn't start with Samantha. It starts in a remote cabin in Washington state, where a young boy named Israel Keyes was learning to hunt anything with a heartbeat. A boy who could grow up to treat human lives like items on a twisted shopping list. Unlike other serial killers, Keyes didn't have a type. He didn't stalk specific victims. Instead, he had fly to random cities, rent a car with cash, and hunt for targets of opportunity. Even more disturbing, he had buried murder kits across the country years in advance, caches of weapons and supplies waiting to be used. When I was doing this, I was two different people, Keyes told FBI investigators, and he was not lying. By day, he ran a respected construction business. His clients called him professional, reliable. But every few months, Keyes would board a plane with a darker purpose. Take Bill and Doreen Currier from Essex, Vermont, a normal couple in their 50s, the kind of people you might wave to while getting your mail. One June night in 2011, they went to bed in their home. They never woke up. Keyes had spent 2 years planning their murder, even burying weapons near their house, waiting for the perfect moment. But like many serial killers, Keyes' downfall came from a mistake. After kidnapping Samantha Koenig, he did something bizarre. He applied makeup to her frozen body, sewed her eyes open with a fishing line, and took a photo to make it look like she was still alive. His goal: to convince her family to pay ransom for a victim he had already killed. The FBI tracked him through ATM withdrawals, following a trail of Samantha's stolen bank card across the Southwest. On March 13, 2012, a Texas state trooper spotted Keyes' rental car in a Lufkin restaurant parking lot. Inside, they found evidence that would track the case wide open. Samantha's card, a disguise, and cash stained with dye from a bank robbery. But here's a twist that haunts investigators to this day. In jail, Keyes started talking and laughing. He drew 11 skulls in his own blood, possibly representing victims we still don't know about. He studied other serial killers like Ted Bundy, but unlike them, he didn't want fame. He wanted the perfect murder vacation. Before prosecutors could uncover all his secrets, Keyes took his final act of control. On December 2, 2012, guards found him dead in his cell. He left behind a chilling suicide note written in blood, an ode to murder that revealed nothing about his other victims. Today, FBI agents believe Keyes may have killed up to 11 people across America, but we might never know for sure, because somewhere out there, his murder kits might still be waiting, buried in the ground, and so are his secrets. If you are traveling through a small town in America and you see a fresh patch of dirt that looks recently disturbed, maybe just keep driving. Thanks for watching.